When we talk about Clemson in 2025, I feel a little bit like how you feel whenever you're the first one to show up at a party. You're like, do I have the right address? Like, there's not that many people here. I checked the invite. Yeah, it says this was the time, this is the place. Like, I guess people are eventually going to show up here. I think Clemson can and will factor into the national title picture. Now, will they do that remains to be seen, but that's how I feel about it as we sit here in February. We're talking about it right now. If you're a Clemson fan, thank you for that. Make sure you're subscribed. We've had a lot of y'all get dialed in by being subscribed, so we appreciate you for that. Also, the Hard Count, full hour-long episodes for you on podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get them. No judgment, but we appreciate you dialing in over there as well. I think we're going to have a lot of Clemson fans right off the bat jump on top of us and say, wait a second, don't switch your energy now around Clemson. We've seen those lists. We've seen you have Dabo Swinney, your top 10 coaches, but he's not high enough. We've seen you have your top 10 teams for the next 3 years, and Clemson's on the outside looking in. I want to address that, and then I want to circle back to what I just told you, which is I think Clemson's going to be really, really freaking good in 2025. Dabo being higher on my coaches list is strictly a projection to the future in regards to can he adapt to modern college football. I've seen a willingness and an openness to that. That excites me. I want to see it translate into practice. I'm telling you, I think it will translate. If they do what I think they're going to do in 2025, he will be a lot higher on that list. That's that part of it. In tandem, speaking of the next 3 years, one, the playoff is changing with the auto bids that the SEC and the Big Ten are going to get, which makes it a little bit tougher on Clemson as we sit here right now. But just what I said, if Dabo Swinney and Clemson can adapt going forward, I have no more questions around Clemson for the future. I just want to see the work they've done in the portal, kind of dipping their toe in there, the way they've hired their staff and things of that nature. I want to see that translate. I don't think that's too much to ask for, because when I see it on the field, then I can feel better about what it's going to be in 2025 and beyond. So, as I just said, I feel like I've shown up early to this Clemson party because y'all, you notice like the way too early national title picks and things of that nature. Clemson's not really in that discussion. Like we put out our way too early college football playoff bracket. I have Clemson going to the semis. If Clemson gets within 8 quarters of winning it all, then I think we can pretty much feel assured that Dabo's not going anywhere and Clemson's not going anywhere. But in regards to just the way that they're built, man, it feels like a new Clemson because of what I said with them going to the portal and the way they hired Tom Allen, but I feel it's a lot like old Clemson. Like, what do those old Clemson teams have? And a Trevor Lawrence and a Deshaun Watson and the defense. They had pedigree. They had dudes at quarterback. I think Cade Klubnik in his 3rd year only getting better in that Garrett Riley system brings you confidence there. The weapons, think about a guy like Mike Williams, TJ Moore, Bryant Wesco. They were both freshmen last year. They were 2 of your top 3 receivers. Oh, by the way, your other top receiver, Antonio Williams, he's back. The defense has a certain temperature to it, very aggressive. That's what Tom Allen brings to the table. Why is he at the table here? Because you brought him over from a team that just made the semis last year in Penn State. Headed up one of the best defenses in college football over there. So all those things combined to where I just sit here and I'm like, man, am I missing something? Is it a conference thing? Is it a logo thing? Is it a not believing in Dabo thing? Like, I don't understand why people are so slow to jump on the Clemson Roy bus. And this is coming from someone now that is telling you I have been pretty lukewarm around Clemson the last couple of years. Like, I've been the guy saying I'm not so sure what they're going to look like here coming into this past season because I don't know if Dabo's going to be able to adjust his roster. Like, we were on the field in Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina, for a noon kick against Florida State, went to overtime, and they lost that game, to call a spade here, because Florida State went to the portal, got some players to pass Clemson. We said that day on the field during our post-game reaction, Clemson has got to find a way to adjust. They have to adjust. And I don't think Dabo Swinney's probably tuned into our show. Coach, if you are, appreciate you. Just go ahead and make sure you're subscribed for us. I don't think that's a thing that Dabo Swinney probably listened to, but that's all we were ever asking, was for them to just slightly adjust their way of doing things. And they've done that. Again, dip their toe in the portal, go grab a Tom Allen from outside your staff to be your defensive coordinator, to go with another OC you grabbed from outside your staff a couple of years ago in Garrett Riley. This is where Clemson, I think, really thrives. Because nobody's actually ever questioned Dabo Swinney in regards to what he is as a football coach. People question him as a roster builder. People question him getting with the times of college football. Nobody questions Dabo's culture. And the reason why I believe Clemson hasn't had the success they've expected to have after they made the college football playoff 6 years in a row is because the talent wasn't at a place to where the culture could make the difference. It is now, from my estimation. What I said with Cade Klubnik, what I said with the receiver core, the defense, all those things. Like, I think it's now at that place where if it comes down to culture and that's the difference on the Saturday, I'll take Clemson. I'll take Clemson all day and feel pretty good about doing it because that's always been intact. And to Dabo Swinney's credit now, the reason why he's been so careful around the portal is to protect that culture. And so now in 2025, with the way the ACC is set up and quite frankly the way that Clemson's schedule is set up, Clemson can lose their first and last game of the season. If they win all the other ones, they will not just make the college football playoff. They'll probably have a bye the first round of the college football playoff, depending on how this whole seeding thing shakes out over the course of the next few days. For context now, I know we have meetings, so I just want to give us a timestamp here to go off of. It is 2:21 Eastern time on February 20th, the Thursday. So if things change before then we'll have a discussion about that on this channel. But for Clemson, on their schedule, man, like LSU at home to start the year, SMU at home, South Carolina on the road to finish, at Louisville, like, these will be good tests. There's no talent roster to me that should just blow Clemson out of the water. There's no talent roster that I sit here right now in February and say, nope, I don't think they're going to be able to hang with that team. Not saying they can't lose, but I'm saying if that's what it comes down to, and it comes down to culture, I feel really good about Clemson. I feel really good about the way they're adapting, adjusting, and what they'll be here in 2025. Again, if they do what I think they're going to do in 2025, a lot of those lists that we have issues with our good friends out there in Clemson, South Carolina, those will look different, and they'll be the Tiger Paw a lot higher on a lot of those lists. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your expectations for Clemson in 2025. Is it national title or bust? Is it make the semis? Let me know your thoughts. Looking forward to hearing from y'all. Cato on the ones and the twos. Myself, JD PicKell. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.